Hello everyone, this is Mahashivratri Sadhana day 11 for me, and not long to go now, and I thought I would talk about this morning's practice a little bit. And this morning my husband decided to do some yoga as well, so we were both crammed into quite a small space, but it kind of worked. But then some way through my practice I realised that, because my eyes are closed, that the chair was very close to my head with a suitcase on top, and it's really weird because I couldn't see it, but it's almost like you can kind of feel its presence and feel its heaviness and feel its energy. It's just too close. And something that Satguru talks about is having a certain amount of space around you while you're doing your yoga practice, and because it kind of interferes, and it's just kind of, you need your little, it's like your own personal space. When someone's standing next to you and you're having a conversation with them, there's a moment when it becomes too close, and you just need that certain distance, and it's very much like that with yoga. So that was a bit strange, having that chair so close. Yeah, last night for dinner I thought, okay, there was on the table some really lovely roasted sweet potato with a bit of coconut oil on, no salt added or anything like that, and some baked small rings of courgette. And I was like, yeah, with my kind of raw salad that I was having, fruits and veggies, I'm sure I can just have a little bit of that. I literally had 3 rings of the courgette, and I had maybe 4 pieces of the sweet potato that were kind of chopped. I was like, that would be okay. And lo and behold, this morning I was lying on my stomach and it was kind of not painful but very uncomfortable, and I could really feel it inside my stomach. So I was like, I really just can't eat cooked food and have a good yoga practice at the same time. It's really quite annoying. So I'm gonna have to eat raw 100% again today. I was 100% raw until about 8 o'clock yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I found myself not drinking enough. And I take a medication called lithium for my bipolar. It's a mood stabiliser, and it's a very natural kind of salt, but that salt is very dehydrating, and I have to make sure that I take in enough liquid to kind of counteract the dehydrating effect that it has. And yesterday I didn't do that very well, so I had my yoga practice, and during yoga you can't drink water. So I had a little bit, but maybe not enough beforehand. Then my yoga practice, and then I had maybe a glass of water before I drove off to see my friend, and that was about an hour's drive. Got there, had 1 glass of hot soya milk, and we were talking for maybe an hour and a half, and I think that when you're doing a lot of talking, it actually uses up a lot of your internal liquid. That's how I feel anyway. And then coming home, there was an awful lot of traffic, and I just had a little bit of water in the bottom of my bottle, and I didn't have all of that, so that was a 2-hour journey back. So the whole morning I really hadn't drunk enough, and I was starting to get kind of headaches and like pains around here, and just that kind of, yeah, not very nice, dehydrated feeling. And I'm not very good at sitting still for such long periods of time, because I was sitting still on the way there for an hour, I was sitting still in the cafe, and then I was sitting dead still for 2 hours in the car driving, and then you're even more still when you're not going anywhere and the traffic is literally rolling a tiny little bit every minute or so. So what I did, this is why I'm getting this point in the story, is to calm me down I found my Isha app on my mobile, and I clicked on nearly, well, half of them I think, and the little videos have got Satguru speaking at the beginning about why these certain practices, you know, what's the point in doing them and that kind of thing. And I was like, oh yes, you can calm me down. And just listening to his voice, and that did help. And some of them I could actually follow the Om chanting and things along with him while I was sitting in the car. So that was quite helpful. And also I just had loads of time, just because I was sitting there on my own, just to continue doing my other chants. And for me that really just takes my mind off whatever situation I'm in, that I kind of, that's what I do to kind of make it better if I can. I go, and you know, my chants are in my head anyway so easily. I was just going yoga, yoga, and I was just repeating and repeating and repeating, and made me feel much better. Coming back to the inner discomfort, I think that was stopping me from being able to sit still so comfortably for longer periods of time in my kriyas and my chanting and my meditation moments in my practice. And I found myself kind of readjusting more than I normally would, and I just think that's to do with how my gut's feeling. Yeah, so another reason why eating right for you is important if you want yoga to be a part of your life, and kind of a successful part of your life, and not always continuing to be a struggle. I had a lovely chat with a lady last night. It was kind of based around bipolar, but something that came up that was interesting for everyone is the effects of actually doing mindfulness or meditation within your day. And for people with mental health issues, mindfulness and meditation is even more important. And she was saying about how she does mindfulness and how it just kind of, it does something up here to your brain that just kind of really helps you work things out with maybe if you're getting high, or if you're getting depressed, or even if you're just at that normal place. Just kind of sorts your brain out in a kind of way that's very hard to describe. And something I wanted to say from my own experience is that sometimes I feel when I'm meditating or afterwards, but mostly drawing, it's almost like when you're completely not thinking about anything and you've got that total kind of stillness and complete calm. It's I'll give you a metaphor. So if you've got a bowl of spaghetti, right, and the spaghetti's all like windy and falling on top of each other and almost making knots, a bit like wires. They just kind of make knots, don't they? And maybe you've got your sauce on there with your bolognese and you've got bits of meat or whatever in there. And meditating or mindfulness, it's a bit like getting your spaghetti, removing all of the sauce and the bits and putting it all in straight lines. And that's what it feels a bit like inside with my brain. I kind of feel like it's just kind of sorting it all out and clearing it, and just making everything work just as it should. It kind of feels like everything's firing on all cylinders, but in a really calm, centred way. It's really hard to describe. But if you've ever meditated and ever done mindfulness, maybe you'll understand what on earth I'm talking about. I had some other metaphors in there and I've forgotten them now, but just that kind of organisation and everything just feeling kind of emptier and clearer, so that whatever the brain has to do, it can do accurately and maybe a bit faster. There's nothing getting in the way. There's no blockages, there's no blocking. Yeah, it's not heavy and difficult. it's just doing whatever it needs to do, you know, inside. I hope that makes sense. So we're going off to Salisbury today, a new place. I don't think I've been there before. And meeting up with some other friends and having more chats. And yeah, just I hope you've enjoyed my Mahashivratri Sadhana Day 11. And that interesting things may have come up from what I've spoken about. And basically I have to go. The time has come to drive off. So see you another time, maybe tomorrow, maybe later. Thank you very much, and namaskar.